Appreciate y'all joining us today. Again, always good to get in front of the podium, but even better after a win. Comments from the other night, extremely proud of our guys. You know, we talked about what it would be to go into a game on the road against the new head coach, their first home game opener, their fireworks show. I mean, they had a lot of energy and momentum and a lot of things that they were playing for. And so when you go on the road, it's tough to go into an environment and get a win. And so extremely proud of the way our guys battled. Was it perfect? Nope. But you never turn your nose up at a win. So.
Coach Bradley, Bobby Landis, Sunwell Sports Radio. Looked like in the first half they wanted to take away the running game and see if your freshman quarterback could complete some passes, and we found out he sure can.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the beauty of where our offense is at right now. They're able to take what you give us. There's been times in the past where that hadn't been the case, whether it be not inability to throw the ball or inability to run the ball. But that entire first half of the safeties were down at 8 yards, and so we came out. We tried to run the ball, but you know, with that many guys around the line of scrimmage, it's tough. And so we had to air it out a little bit, and so we had a little bit of success in the air.
Defensive side of the ball, they put a lot of pressure on the back end of your defense, and it looked like as we weathered the storm, we were able to make the adjustments and take away the things that we needed to win the ball game.
Yeah, it's interesting. When you watch offensive coordinators, a lot of times they have what we call an opening script. And a lot of times that is new plays, design plays, plays that are schemed up. But when you empty out that script, then you kind of return back to your true form, and usually you kind of come down a little bit. So we weathered the storm. I think we kind of ran them out of their script, and then we were able to get some stops.
Special teams?
Yeah, you got to work on them. They weren't special for us. Anytime you give up a score or an explosive, as we call them, not a good thing. You know, we only punted once. PBR, we didn't have any opportunities at it. And then the big one is the kickoff and kickoff return. That was huge in their momentum swing. And so we got to find a better way to keep that rallied.
Coach, you said that you're not one maybe to be looking back or worrying about numbers, but this is the first 2-0 start for this program since 2013. Just talk about what that means to you.
Stop it. It means nothing. Hey, here's the deal. I'm appreciative. Coach Patasso is the history buff, and every week he'll come in and tell me every obscure stat and trend that has happened over the last 30 years. But no, here's the deal. Every team, every week is its own storyline, is its own entity. And so as much as I can appreciate that, I do know we got a lot of work to do. We got the bye week, then we got a very good Northwest Missouri team coming to town. And I don't think they care about history. I don't think they care about stats. And so we got to put ourselves together and just keep chipping away at it. You know, I'm always one of those guys that looks back at the end of the season, and I'll do it even more at the end of my career. But when you're in it, I flip the page really quickly, and I'm ready to get ready for MIAA play.
Talk about, you know, you mentioned Northwest. They held Washburn to just 7 this last week and negative rushing yards. Kind of talk about maybe what stands out about the rushing and, you know, wanting to keep your run game going and you know, just looking at that defense.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that was a typo, but it wasn't. They're aggressive. You know, it's the same defensive coordinator from last year. And if you guys remember, Northwest is, I mean, as long as Rich Wright was there, they were always a top 3 defense in the league, and so that part hadn't changed. They're still stingy in the run game. They're sticky in routes in the back end, and so we've got to double up what we've done in the past. This will be probably our true test in terms of being balanced. We're going to have to be able to run the football. We're going to have to be able to throw the football to keep them off balance. We're not going to be able to just say, okay, we're only going to run it or we're only going to pass it. We got to do a good job staying balanced and keeping them off balanced.
and you already talked about the pass game a little bit, but over the 2 weeks, the 2 games you've seen, just talk about what you've seen from Martin and how he's handled this role as a true freshman.
Yeah, I think it's natural to look at the quarterback position, and that's the one that garners a lot of attention. But I want to brag on the receivers for a little bit, man. Like the amount of wealth that's getting spread out to a bunch of names, you know, and so it's running backs, it's receivers, it's the O-line blocking, it's the timing in which the quarterback's getting rid of the ball. So yes, Tillman is the one that gets the stats for the completion and all the yards, but it's a collective effort. I think they're doing a lot of really good things offensively that we just got to continue to do and continue to build on. But kudos to that skill group. They've worked really hard over the last 9 months to have some success like they are.
You talked about staying balanced on offense, but is there any one big focus, you know, with the week off right here? Is there one big focus this week? Anything that you think, you know, your team really needs to hone in on with an extra week before?
Yeah, I mean, you're always nitpicking the wins more than you do the losses, just because, you know, it's easy to kind of, everybody tells you how good you did, you know what I mean? And so in a win, it's easy to kind of gloss over those mistakes, but there were a ton of opportunities. I mean, you look at the ball game, it's 21-3, and we fumble. I mean, we go straight down the field and we fumble. Then we drop a pick six. They return a kickoff. So I can promise you, in 5 minutes of tape, I can find 100 mistakes. And so there's a lot of stuff we got to clean up. And did we win the game? We made enough plays to win the game, but there's going to be teams that are better than that. That if you make those mistakes, you won't win the game. And I don't want to be in the same situation where we're looking back, making those same mistakes, going, dang, we lost 31-38 because we made those mistakes. We want to be in a situation where we're putting teams away because we're continuing to operate at a high level.
Hey, Coach, real quick, one of the things you talked about giving up dynamic plays. As a coach, is that easier to fixing dynamic plays than your team not being physical?
Yeah, no, I think it is. The ones where you give up dynamic or explosives due to a lack of effort, that's hard to fix. And so that's not the case. It's not a situation where kids just took their foot off the pedal and were coasting. No, there were a little bit of schematic issue and then a little bit of brain fog for an 18-year-old kid getting his second start in college football. And so we'll get those things cleaned up. But yeah, it's a lot easier to correct those mistakes than it is to correct effort, because then you got the wrong kids out there.
Coach, what are the advantages and disadvantages of having the bye week now? You got the teams on a 2-0 winning streak, but also every game in the future is going to be MIAA conference play. So can you kind of just tell me the advantages and disadvantages?
Yeah, when they added week 0, this is something myself and Coach Mallory, our AD, talk about all the time. Like, you really got to navigate the first 3 weeks of the season. And what I mean by that is you got to, whether you play in week 0, take a bye, and then play in week 2, or however you navigate it, you got to do the best job you can to give your team rest before you go in the MIAA schedule. The schedule is tough, and so if you can make it where you have a little rest going in, that's great. So for us to be able to play 2 games back to back, our guys were tested, our guys got to go out, our guys got to make a lot of mistakes, and through that we were able to come out 2-0. But more importantly, now we get a week to study 2 weeks of film and say, okay, guys, we have got to fix X, Y, Z going into conference play, because whatever you put on film as a weakness, people are going to try to exploit that. And so we've got to use that bye week so that when the first play versus Northwest, they try to exploit that one weakness that you showed. It's like, oh, wow, they fixed that. Okay, all right, go to the next one. You know what I mean? And so there's definitely some things we've put on film that we got to get fixed.
You kind of talked a little bit about it, but watching film, what are some other focuses and practices leading up to prepare for Northwest?
Yeah, I think for us, again, it's just the execution piece. You know, again, against really good football teams, you can't afford to execute 90% of the time and then have some misfires on 10. You got to find a way to execute 98, 99% of the time. And so that's going to be the focus, is consistency. How do we maintain a high level of play for longer? That is the key. You'll never have 100%. And if you do, you're not grading hard enough. But we've got to find ways to keep our highs for a longer period of times and make our lows a shorter period of time and not as low, if you will.
Were there 2 celebrations on Saturday night with Mizzou beating KU?
Yeah, no, that was a good one. I was a part of those border battles when I was a GA there, and so I did get a little kick out of that. So
Cool. Thank you, Coach.
appreciate it, guys.
Go with name, major, and then where you from.
Cool. Hi everyone, I'm Huston Rotich. I'm a senior receiver here and I study finance. I'm ready for any questions.
Talk about your receiver room and the camaraderie with those guys. You guys are a seasoned group, got a lot of experience last year. You had some very talented guys in that room that got injured. You guys are now the guys. What's it like? What's that room like?
Well, speaking just a little bit from last year, we had some guys who were playing almost 100% snaps last year, and we had some injuries, and so some of the younger guys got to step up from scout team and really make some big influence last year. And so it was really just carrying on with that same group of guys and just becoming better and better at our craft. And we got our coach, Keem Gilmore, who stepped in. He was a receiver here last year, and so the closeness in that group is one thing that just makes it so amazing. And then on top of that, we're just ready to get it, if that's in the pass game, the run game, anywhere.
So you all hold each other accountable as well as cheer each other on?
Oh, for sure. I mean, even if a freshman misses class, we're all going to be coming together and doing a punishment together. It's not one single person, it's everybody. So.
Talk about what you've seen from your quarterback so far, and what it's been like, running routes and catching passes for him.
Man, Tillman's a dog, man. I first met him on a hosting visit last year and at the end of the season. And, I was telling him, I was like, man, it's a hard thing to come in as a freshman and try to get a job, but since the first time I saw him in the spring, he's been motivated, humble, and just continued to work hard. And the quarterbacks around him also just pushed him to be even better. I mean, he came in as a freshman, obviously, so he had lacked a little experience at college, and we had some guys who have been traveling around from other schools, have been here, who knew the program, and they just helped him grow to be an even better quarterback. So, yeah.
What's a big focus for you this week? Just kind of preparing for Northwest. Anything you think you or the offense is working on?
I mean, I know going into this week, we got film for Northwest, but I wouldn't even think that that's something we're going to be taking a deep dive into. This week is really Missouri Southern versus Missouri Southern. We're going to be coming out and just trying to improve in our game. And while we've had 2 good weeks, I just know there's ways that we can become an even better team. So it's just coming out and practicing hard every day on the field, not losing a day, and just becoming the team that we know we can be.
You had 90 reception yards against SBU. What kind of was working offensively, especially in the first half compared to the second half?
I mean, our coach came out with a great script. I think we have definitely become a team. Last year, I think we were more of have 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends in the game, get the run game going. But this year, we've tried to spread out the team a little bit more, bring more receivers on. And I think we really started with the run game in the beginning. And when we saw that it wasn't executing to the best of things that we could do, we decided to get more guys, more receivers on the field, and let Tillman do what Tillman does. So yeah, definitely.
And how are you personally going to be using the bye week?
Me personally, I'm going to be taking care of my body, making sure that I'm 100% to go at the start of next week, and just encouraging my guys to go out there and practice every day with the mindset that it's not over. The job ain't finished. So.
And what's it going to take for Missouri Southern football to hit the ground running to come out and play against Northwest Missouri and MIAA conference?
Just know that we're meant to be. Like, this team isn't the bottom of the MIAA. We're a team that is supposed to be in the top of the MIAA, and we're going to show that. So we just got to have a mindset every day when we come out to practice that we're the guys who are going to be in the top of the league. We're going to stay there. So, yeah.
Cool. Thank you. So, name, position, major.
senior. I play defensive line, and I study general studies.
Same question for you. What's that room like? You had a lot of experience in that room last year that is now graduated out. You're part of that leadership group. What's that room like, and what does that do when it translates to the field?
One thing we live in the defensive line room is just we got to come every day, work hard, giving it our best, pay attention to details. Because last week we went into a game not knowing what we was going to get, so we just had to pay attention to details, you know, the little things. Because if we don't, it's going to hurt us.
What's it like having the number of guys that you have that can rotate in? You've got, what, 8 guys in that room that all get playing time, and that's important. Talk about what it's like to have that many guys who can come in and what it means as far as being able to stay fresh and being ready later in the game.
That rotation last week, it was pretty good. So our coaches was doing a good job, like rotating us back and forth, trying to make us stay fresh throughout the whole game so we could be able to play all 4 quarters.
Yeah, the tempo seemed to be something that you all hadn't seen, not just this year, but in the past as well, that somebody was on the ball as quick as they were, putting the pressure on you the way they were.
Yeah, they kind of highlighted on that because from our first game, tempo kind of got to us because we weren't expecting it. So at practice, we was trying to like get as much preparation we can to get ready for that. So I kind of got ourselves off guard, but then we made adjustment in the second half and we got the dub.
Talk about the differences as defensive end, you know, containing the edge, pass rush, stopping the run. Talk about the differences of those and maybe how you approach each one.
I don't play DN, I play defensive tackle. I'm the interior guy,
Okay.
so our mindset in the interior is kind of different. So we got to play the run first and then react to the pass. Everything on the inside is like quick like that. It's like a millisecond you have to make a decision to get past the guy in front of you.
Gotcha. On that.
Were you too slow to play defensive end? Is that why you got moved inside?
Nah, we just needed more power on the inside. So we got guys on the outside that they can bend the edge. They're fast, they're athletic, so they need more like power, speed guys in the middle. So that's why they kind of put them in the middle.
You got a tackle against SBU. You know, what was kind of working on the defensive side in the first half in comparison to the second?
That tackle, I just dominated the guy in front of me and just do my assignment because we were going into that week not knowing what we were going to get. So I just had to do my job and then I got the tackle.
I would kind of describe the energy to be kind of competitive, rivalry-like. What were you kind of telling the guys on the sideline to keep their composure, keep a calm team, make sure that Missouri Southern was playing their game against SBU?
We kind of had some moments where, you know, emotions were all high and I just had to be a leader. I just had to tell my team, it's like, hey, bro, it's going to be a ball game. They ain't going to go down, so we just got to keep our composure, keep our heads level, and just come out swinging so they're not going to have a chance.
Coach and Houston talked about how they're going to use the bye week. You know, what's your plan going into the bye week?
This week, it's like one of my teammates used to say, it's going to be us versus us. We're going to come out, pay attention to details, get the little things right, get our bodies right, and make sure that we're 100% for next week because we have a good opponent coming in, play us at our home field.
And what are some things we kind of need to tweak before playing Midwest Missouri before Northwest? Sorry, thank you. Before going into MIAA play conference.
We just gotta, like I said, pay attention to details. It's the little things. It's not gonna be the big things because the little thing is gonna hurt us. Like the stats game, it's the little thing that's what, you know, almost cost us the game, but we still came out with a dub. So we're gonna go into this week trying to work on the little things, get better at it, and then we're gonna be right for the next game.
Forgot to ask Houston, so I'll go ahead and ask you same question I asked Coach Bradley. Talk about the 2-0 start and just what that means to you to be a part of, you know, first program in 12 years to start 2-0.
I mean, 2-0 feels great. You know, it's the standard. We have to come in here, work every day, live up to it, rise to the standard if we have to. But the job ain't done, so now it's about the real dog is about coming in and we're gonna play.